Take two if you want.
All right.
All right,
There
my
you go,
friend.
sir. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here, right at home, in Durham region, alongside my colleagues, Minister Sarkaria, Regional Chair Henry, and Member of Provincial Parliament for Whitby, Lauren Coe. Today, we celebrate the start of construction for major upgrades and expansion to the Durham College Oshawa GO Station. Just this past January 2026, our Ontario government announced that we had broken ground on the Bowmanville GO Train extension. This project will be transformative for our region, extending the Lakeshore East line almost 19 kilometers further into Durham, accommodating up to 17,000 trips daily and 4.9 million boardings each and every year by 2041. This expansion will connect the region and provide workers, students, and families with more options to get to where they need to go. Now, I'm thrilled that we can celebrate this next significant milestone today. Because in addition to expanding transit infrastructure, our Ontario government is also making life more affordable for the people of Ontario. The One Fare program is saving commuters up to $1,600 each year. This is by allowing free transfers between Durham Region Transit, the TTC, GO Transit, and other participating transit agencies across the GTHA. So far, this initiative has saved Ontarians more than $264 million by enabling 82 million free transfers. Now, the Bowmanville GO extension and the station upgrades here in Oshawa are part of the more than $15 billion that our government is investing to expand our GO Transit system. In fact, Ontario is investing nearly $70 billion in the largest transit expansion in North America. This is part of our historic $236 billion capital plan to build and renew Ontario's critical infrastructure. In addition to our record transit investments, our Ontario government is getting more shovels in the ground across Durham region, expanding our services, supporting much needed new housing, and creating more well-paying jobs. Through our municipal housing infrastructure program, Ontario is investing more than $83 million to protect Durham region's water and road systems, including upgrades to the Oshawa water supply plant. In total, these projects will enable over 200,000 new homes while maintaining thousands of existing homes across the region. Our government is also investing in the healthcare infrastructure that our growing communities need. In nearby Ajax, redevelopment work for the Grandview Children's Centre was completed in late 2024, and procurement is already underway to modernize and expand Oak Valley Health in Uxbridge, and to deliver a major expansion that will nearly double the size of the Lakeridge Health Bowmanville Hospital. Congratulations to all the project partners on reaching today's milestone. I look forward to seeing the next phase of this project come to life, because investing in modern infrastructure is how we build and protect a strong Ontario and a strong and resilient Canada. And now, I'm pleased to introduce my friend, my colleague, the Honourable Prabmeet Sarkaria, the Minister of Transportation for the Province of Ontario, to share more about what is planned for the Durham College Oshawa GO Station.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, thank you very much for the introduction, Todd, and for listing the many accomplishments your Durham MPPs have been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. I want to thank Minister McCarthy not only for his work on this project, the Bowmanville expansion project that he spoke to much of the infrastructure that you see going on here, and of course my friend MPP Lauren Coe, as well as a tireless advocate at Queen's Park for his residents, for his community, delivering every single day for the residents of Durham, whether it's reducing the tolls or removing the tolls on the 412, 418, or whether it's about what we're here to speak to today, which is this major milestone for transit in Durham region. I also want to take an opportunity to thank Chair Henry for his leadership and partnership in delivering these historic projects across Durham region. We work best when we're all collaborating together to achieve milestones like today, which we are here to celebrate. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government is making historic investments to fight gridlock, slash commute times, and keep Ontario moving. We're investing $70 billion in the largest transit expansion in North American history and the largest subway expansion in Canadian history. And here in Durham, we're getting shovels in the ground to deliver faster, more frequent GO service this growing region needs. Today, I'm pleased to announce that major construction is officially underway to expand Durham College Oshawa GO Station. Crews have started building 2 additional tracks and other important infrastructure that will support faster, more frequent service and future electrification on the Lakeshore East Line. We're also building a new north platform, extending the south platform, adding 2 new pedestrian bridges, and improving the bus loop. These upgrades will increase capacity, improve accessibility, and make it easier for thousands of commuters to get where they need to go. And it's a critical step toward delivering 2-way, all-day GO service. And we're not stopping here. Earlier this year, we broke ground on the Bowmanville GO extension, which will extend the Lakeshore East Line nearly 19 kilometers further into Durham region. Together, these projects will strengthen connections across the region, connect more people to jobs and housing, and keep pressure off Highway 401. This is a part of our $15.3 billion investment in GO expansion to increase capacity and deliver faster, more reliable service across the network. Across Ontario, our government is building the transportation infrastructure our community and economy needs. We've expanded service across the network, built new stations, and upgraded critical infrastructure to support even more service in the years ahead. While previous governments talked about building transit, our government is getting shovels in the ground and getting it done. We're building a stronger GO network, reducing gridlock and protecting Ontario by investing in the infrastructure that will keep people and our economy moving for generations to come. With that said, I have the opportunity to now turn it over to one of our regional partners, Chair John Henry. Thank you.
So good afternoon, and thank you, Minister Sarkaria, Minister McCarthy, MPP Coe. It's a pleasure for me to be here today for this important announcement. I also want to recognize that we're joined by the Oshawa Chamber of Commerce. And like that other great John said one time, I hear the train a-coming. Durham region is one of the fastest growing communities in Ontario. We're the clean energy capital of Canada. And as more people choose to live and work and study in Durham, and having more reliable transit options is essential. The work underway at Durham College Oshawa GO Station will make it easier and more convenient for residents to get where they need to go. Whether that's commuting to work, attending school, connecting with family and friends, or accessing services in Durham region and beyond. These improvements will create a better experience for riders with increased capacity, improved accessibility, and infrastructure that supports more frequent service in the future. They will also help to prepare our region for the next generation of transit projects, including the GO East extension to Bowmanville. And for residents, this is about having more travel options, shorter and more convenient trips, and a transit system that can grow alongside our communities. I'd like to thank the Ontario Ministry of Transportation for their ongoing partnership and their commitment to investing in infrastructure that will keep Durham moving both today, tomorrow, and into the future. Have a wonderful day.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lord Coe. I'm the Member of Provincial Parliament for Whitby and the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister for Colleges and Universities and Children, Community and Social Services. Being a representative for Whitby, I know that for many Durham residents, today is about the expansion to the Durham College GO station, but it's much more than that, isn't it? Much more than that. It's about making sure that the region of Durham's transportation infrastructure keeps pace with the growth we're seeing across our communities, in particular the city of Oshawa and the town of Whitby. For hardworking families, today's announcement means a more modern and accessible station, better connections for passengers, and the infrastructure needed to meet the demands for future service. With the Bowmanville GO extension moving forward, along with the major improvements we're announcing today at the Durham College Oshawa GO station, we're building a stronger and more connected transportation network for the fastest growing region in the province of Ontario. I'm proud, absolutely proud, to see our government, with the leadership of Premier Ford, Minister Sarkaria, and Minister Sarkaria, continuing to build for Durham's future. Thank you. And Minister Sarkaria, could you please join me at the podium to take any media questions, please? Thank you.
Sir. Thank you.
It's not working. We'll now go to questions. If reporters could line up at the microphone behind me, please identify yourselves by name and outlet, and it will be one question, one follow-up.
And then just before we start, I want to take an opportunity to welcome our team from Metrolinx here today. I didn't get to mention them off the top, but Chair Nick Simone is joined here today with Chet as well from the Metrolinx team, who are helping deliver these projects, and as well as our partners from Non Express. Acon is also present here. So thank you to all of you for all of your work on this. Thank you.
Minister Doug Boyd from Rogers TV. Can you just talk about the tariffs, obviously, with automotive, with the GM here in Oshawa, and the deal they just signed with Unifor? How concerning is it that these jobs, the deal they signed, could lose to the U.S.?
Well, Premier Ford and our government have been fighting, tooth and nail. The deal that wasn't reached this past week, Premier Ford was advocating for exactly our auto sector. It was too important for Premier Ford and our government to be a part of any deal that jeopardizes our auto sector. Whether we talk about this plant or we talk about any of the plants across Ontario, Premier Doug Ford and our team have been committed to the workers in this province, that we will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that we are building for that future, that we're protecting those jobs and working with, whether it's those same workers, our unions, partners across Canada and Ontario, to send a very strong message to down south that we will not compromise on our auto sector, and we will give any support needed to ensure those jobs stay here. And I know how important it is for this region. And so we continue, as the Premier has done, yesterday, the day before, to get that message across to millions and millions of Americans, because our economies are so intertwined. We are so reliant on each other. And the Premier always says we don't have an issue with the American people, but the unfortunate events that have occurred under the current administration. So we're going to continue to do whatever we can to support those workers.
Sharon, can I get you on the same thing, please?
Well, thank you, Doug. And Doug, you've been in Oshawa for a long time. You know the importance of what steel and autos are for our economy, and of course agriculture as well. But my comment would be something that would talk about what's happening at kitchen tables on both sides of the border tonight, where families are trying to figure out their future, what's going on in their lives, what's going to happen tomorrow, and will they have jobs. So while I'm not any part of the discussions, and nor would any leader at my level be, I hope that there is a pattern of discussion. All problems in our lives are solved around the kitchen table. Maybe they'll have a kitchen table meeting and remember that governments work for the people. People do not work for the government.
And Minister, obviously here in Oshawa, there's a lot of roads, Simcoe Street Park, Ritson is all shut down just for construction, all due to Metrolink's expansion on the highway. What's your message to residents who are frustrated right now with all these roads closed down all at once here?
Thank you for that question. I know how disruptive construction can be across the region. Our team at Metrolinx tries to minimize to the highest degree possible the disruption that happens, but unfortunately, as part of some of these projects that we undertake, some of that disruption is necessary. And my message to those community members is, we'll continue as a team at MTO and Metrolinx to mitigate against those. Ultimately, though, these short-term pains that we see with respect to disruption are going to enable significantly more service for the same residents into the future. When we talk about the electrification of this line, when we talk about, we've got about 600 trains weekly trips here coming down to Oshawa, and that's because we've seen significant demand from the residents along this line, this station. The improvements that we are announcing here today are going to set the pace for almost 3 million users of this station by 2041. So it's a part of the growing pains. I know it's very unfortunate, the disruption that comes with it. We'll try to mitigate it to the best extent possible, but this is happening because we're investing in this community and trying to improve the service and increase service along this line.
Hi there, Christian Davino with CBC News. You mentioned disruptions there, Minister. Obviously, Metrolinx projects and transit-related projects have a history of going over budget. Can you confirm that this project in particular, the Bowmanville East expansion, is still within the strict budget that was given, the $730 million, or is that now expanded due to some disruptions, obviously, namely the trade deal that has collapsed since?
So I'll make a couple of comments on that. Obviously, there's impacts to costing and pricing when we look at projects across Ontario, not just with transit. Whether you look at the cost of building anything in the province, given the introduction of tariffs, would increase. What you saw today was a letter from the Premier to all of our chairs and every agency in government that says that we need to buy Ontario, and in circumstances where that might cost a bit more, that's okay, because we need to support domestic supply chains, we need to support domestic workers, we need to support domestic companies, and I think one of the best ways to do that is to invest in highway transportation infrastructure, public transit infrastructure, what you're seeing here today. It's a $15 billion budget that we have allocated towards GO expansion. A part of that is what we're announcing here today. A part of that is what you saw with the Bowmanville East expansion as well. So these are projects that are grouped widely within our GO expansion program that help us deliver not only thousands of jobs to local communities, but ultimately better service for the residents that will be served along this line. So many of those also are still in procurement as that project moves forward, and as those procurements complete and those jobs are won, those details will then be made more public as well with respect to final costing. But for us, it's about building transit, getting shovels in the ground, and getting people to work.
And my second question here is, in terms of this actual project, does this fall underneath the Bowmanville expansion? Is it technically separate? If so, what is the budget for this in particular, and what is the timeline for it to be built?
So this is a part of our GO expansion. So we have a GO expansion bucket that we use to fund specific projects like this that you're seeing here today and across the line. As the projects complete, as the work completes, like we do with every single one of our tenders, we make those public once the pricing component of that has completed. And so with the laying of additional track here, the 2 pedestrian bridges that will be built here, the upgrades to the bus loop that are being done, once those are completed, we will absolutely make fully public the full cost of those, just to respect the period that we're in with respect to costing and procurement. But as you can see behind us, though, the work is happening. The expansion of this station is going to be significant. It is almost going to serve as a hub for this area. We're expecting over 3 million users by 2041. So we're making sure that we're ready for that growth today by putting in those additional tracks and the expansion of the station and other upgrades that we've announced.
Hello, this is Mahmoud from Wesal TV. Minister, I'm working on a story about removal of a speed camera in Durham region. I want to ask how much funding has the province given to the region and its municipalities?
So it was based on a formula, so dependent upon how many cameras were installed at the time. The program, roughly speaking, about $150,000 per camera was granted, whether it was through a regional road or whether it was through a municipal road. So that was allocated to each of the municipality or region. What happened then was a 10% payment was made up front to each of those eligible municipalities, which was about $240 million was the total pot. So 10% of that pot was given in advance to those communities. The remainder of that money is application based. And so there is an allotment that is put forward. The municipalities and regions know what their allotment is. Given the formula that was derived to use that, they will then apply to the province with their traffic calming measures and their plan that has been put forward, and the province will approve the remaining expenditures that are within their allocation.
Thank you. Do you think, the province received any report that these alternative ways were, was effective?
Well, I think whether it's Premier Ford or myself, the Ministry of Transportation, what we believe is that if you want to limit speeding in a school zone and you want to get compliance with the lower kilometers per hour speed, we need to install speed bumps in those areas. If a camera is there, you can still blow by that camera and you'll get a ticket 3 weeks later. But if you have a physical impediment, which is a speed bump, a car almost physically cannot go over that at a high speed because it would conduct significant damage to that vehicle. So our position has continued to remain that if we want to reduce speeds in those zones, install the speed bumps where possible, and that would significantly lower the speed limit in which people enter school zones or safety zones.
Thank you very much. That concludes today's press conference.
Thank you very much, everyone.